Hey everyone, it's Judy Cohen, and this is Wake Up Call 487. Welcome. It's nice to see so many friends. So I was listening to a teaching recently, yesterday actually, and I wanted to share something that really resonated for me about metta, loving kindness or unconditional friendliness. And of course, metta is one of the four Brahma Viharas, or they're sometimes called heavenly abodes. And these four states of mind, or maybe states of heart, are called the heavenly abodes because they're the spaces that we probably want to live in, right? So we want to live in a space of love or of compassion or of joy or of equanimity, which are the four. And or another way of saying that is we want this house of ours, this body, this life we live in, to be a house or a life of love, of caring for others, caring for ourselves, of having and bringing joy into the world, and of caring for ourselves and others, and of balance and of ease. And I know I'm using the word we here and not I, right? So I'm not using the I, but that's because I'm assuming that that's what we all want. But we could also be forgiven, I feel like, right now, for wondering whether that's true, or wondering whether there are a whole lot of people who want something entirely different. And I feel like we could also be forgiven right now for wondering how on earth, to live in a life of love and care and joy and ease in this moment. How on earth, how on this earth, in this moment when the earth herself has been relegated to a commodity in so many ways, and actually in so many ways all other beings and human beings too have been relegated in that way. So this practice of metta and of all four Brahma Viharas, it was always explained to me, and I always learned it as a practice of cultivation, right? And that feels right. Um, as I've spent time over the years cultivating loving kindness, for example, for myself, for my beloveds, for my acquaintances, for strangers, for difficult people, for all beings, for the earth. As I've spent that time, I would say that in this body, in this container, love and friendliness really have grown. And this is one of the fundamental axioms of mindfulness, right? One of the things the ancient texts tell us is that whatever we think and ponder becomes the inclination of the mind. And the mind is this whole package, right? And or in neuroscientific terms, we know that as we practice love and friendliness, we're carving these deeper and deeper neural pathways in the mind, literally, and those eventually become default pathways, which we then habitually use in more and more situations, right? Or in plain English, we practice friendliness and love becomes more accessible, and eventually it becomes more automatic. So we do that, and we do it in our own ways. And, maybe we do that in formal practice by repeating the phrases for all of the categories of beings and for the earth. So, and we include ourselves. So may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease. And then may you be happy and healthy and safe and live with ease. And, we're pointing at our beloveds, our teachers, our acquaintances, the strangers in our lives, the difficult people in our lives, all beings. And I'm also hoping everybody's pointing at Mother Earth these days too, because she could use a little metta. Or maybe we're doing that by summoning feelings of friendliness and love and then radiating those feelings out in all directions, right? Maybe we're practicing 3-second kindness, one of my very favorites, and wishing people well secretly. Working with this really simple practice of bringing warm and loving and friendly attitudes to as many people as we can all day long, right? And there are lots of ways. Okay, so that's that. And then there's this inquiry that has come up for me right now, which is, what does cultivation mean, right? When we talk about metta and we're practicing metta and the other three Brahma Viharas, what do we mean by cultivation? And I'll say when I when I first began practicing, the very idea of the Brahma Viharas, the heavenly abodes, was really foreign to me. I mean, I wasn't raised in a family that had a lot of fluency with wholesome emotions in the sense of intentionally bringing those qualities of heart, qualities of mind to the moment, or even in the sense of talking about their value. So I was coming to the Brahma Viharas as a novice, a complete novice, and with some skepticism. Not really about their value so much as about my ability to cultivate them. Like, could I do that? And I still feel like a novice. um, but I want to say that I've seen that it is possible to cultivate these beautiful qualities, right? And then there's that word again, cultivation. And I'm raising the word, I'm posing it as an inquiry because when I first heard about these qualities, I thought, you know, I don't have them much, but maybe I can listen and practice and study and learn them. Kind of like I learned math, a little bit of math. I learned how to cook, learned how to practice law, right? But now I wonder about that approach because I wonder, and this was the question that came up in the teaching I was listening to, not about our ability to cultivate, but if all of those beautiful qualities aren't actually already always there, just waiting to be accessed. Um, and what I'm saying is, I'm sure we can cultivate them if that means bringing them out and increasing them. But I wonder if love and friendship and care and joy and equanimity are already there. They're just waiting to be accessed. Like almost like the other elements of the body are already there, like water and air and space. So I wonder if love and caring and joy and ease are elemental, right? Just waiting for us to lift them up in our lives, lift them up into the world. Like one of my students once wrote in their journal, showcase your love. And I love that. And I wonder if they're all for just residing almost internally, waiting to be showcased. And I wonder about that because when I first heard about the heavenly abodes, I remember they sounded foreign and they also sounded completely familiar. Like, where have I heard that? Or when has that happened? Like deja vu. So, but for me, access, right? There are these barnacles, and the Brahma Viharas don't feel like they're always on the surface. They feel like they can live deep down, kind of beneath, and for me, it's beneath my aversion and beneath my worry, beneath my exhaustion and doubt, beneath all the ways I want the world to be different, want my life to be different, beneath all the things that obfuscate them, that obfuscate love and discourage compassion and impede joy and tip me over and over, making it hard to stand in the fire of this world with ease. Right. So I'm wondering, I'm inquiring, and I'm offering this inquiry to all of us, right? Is metta already fully present and operating beneath these obstacles for all of us? Um, and do we, and I mean the big we, right? I mean the all of us we, right? And here's the tricky part for me. Do the big we of all of us only need to get beneath the greed, the hatred, and the delusion for metta and compassion and joy and equanimity to out? Because if that's the case, then it's not just me, it's not just us, right? It's everybody. And that includes a whole lot of folks who, for me, it's really hard to imagine are full of love and compassion underneath all those obstacles. And it's hard for me to imagine know how to be joyful and wholesome ways, and who have true equanimity beneath those obstacles, right? It's hard, or I don't know, sometimes it's impossible to imagine, but still, what if it's true?